Welcome viewers to another edition of Regional Review. My name is Jareen Hoff and we're taking a quick look at news from the Khomas region in the last few weeks. But first up, today is World Polio Day. The city of Windhoek announced that it has electrified 3,500 households over Havana's Extension 6 and 7. Mayor Joseph Upanenge made this announcement last week. The city of Windhoek has electrified more than 3,500 households in the informal settlements around Windhoek over a period of 5 years to the tune of $45 million. This was announced by COW Mayor Joseph Uapingene at the official inauguration of the informal area electrification project in Havana Extension 6 and 7 in the Samora Machel constituency last week. 50 streetlights were also installed in the area. Uapingene said that the houses were electrified during the previous 5-year electrification plan of 2017 to 2022, which lapsed during the current financial year, with a combined capital investment of 45 million Namibian dollars funded by the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development and NamPower. He said that in Havana Extension 6 and 7 Phase 2, 105 households were electrified out of 162 houses at $4.2 million availed by the ministry. 57 houses will be completed once the appointment of an auxiliary unit rate electrical contractor is finalized by the end of October. At the event, he said that the municipal services belong to every Windhoek resident and that the COW remains committed to providing basic services to residents to ensure that everyone enjoys quality of life and basic services. Uapingene added that the city recently approved the revised 5-year electrification plan to guide the implementation of the electrification of 4,000 households for the next 5 years until 2028, saying that to reach this target the city requires 15 to 20 million a year. While the residents expressed their appreciation for the electrification project, they also called on the city to address the problem of water and sanitation. One resident said she is unhappy as the lack of toilets has resulted in people resorting to open defecation, which poses a health risk. She said it is unhealthy, especially for elders who have to resort to open defecation. Samora Machel constituency councillor Nesta Kalola said there is still a vast need for water as about 80,000 households lack municipal services such as proper sanitation. He said that the city should still make provision for these needs as the land in the constituency is yet to be serviced. He added that approximately 2,000 people benefit from the Harambee Prosperity Plan through grants, of which $600 per month is paid to each of the beneficiaries. However, he said that over 5,000 people visit the offices seeking assistance with the monthly grant, but that unfortunately the budget cannot sustain this amount for all these households. Up next, we head east, where the informal settlement of Canaan C in Gobabis will likely be land surveyed before the end of November. This process, however, can only start once every one of the 4,400 households contribute a nominal fee of $210 to get the process underway. Here's more. Moving east, the anticipated land surveying endeavour for the Canaan Sea informal settlement in Gobabis is estimated to necessitate a total community contribution of $900,000. Jacob Chenay, Secretary of the Canaan Sea Upgrading Committee, said that this amount would be drawn from the more than 4,400 households living at the settlement, with each household expected to contribute $210. He said that they have conveyed to the community the importance of pooling funds for development to take place, saying that this involves a $210 contribution per household, totaling $900,000. He explained that these funds would be earmarked for engaging a land surveyor. Chenay noted that the community must cover these expenses from their own resources, acknowledging the current economic challenges. In the meantime, a joint account managed by 2 committee members and 1 municipal representative has been established. Chenay emphasized the need for half of the required amount to commence with land surveying. Contributions so far have reached $381,000, and the community has appealed to the municipality for support. Chenay said that they urged the local municipality to assist them, saying they've done their best to meet them halfway. There is usually a government budget for such projects, he said, and that they could even lend us the money, which we can repay upon completion. In reaction, Public Relations Officer of the Gobabis municipality, Frederick Oetele, said that this initiative is community-driven, indicating that the municipality's involvement would follow the completion of the land survey scheduled to commence at the end of this month. Oetele said the surveyor is expected on site in November, with a payment deadline set for October 31st. He added that failure to make the $210 contribution would not result in eviction or relocation, but would incur a penalty of $40 or more. Arbor Day was celebrated in the capital recently. Here's what Windhoek's mayor had to say.
Thank you for celebrating this day with us. We could not have pulled this event off without your generous support and donations. Your commitment to fulfill the national responsibility in spreading the message of ensuring that we comply with environmental policies and programs is crucial, and we applaud you for spearheading this initiative through your generous donations. I would also like to extend thanks to our distinguished donors for their dedication to drive such an outstanding project and educating our inhabitants of the importance of honoring National Arbor Day and promoting the development of green communities. The insights presented here today are invaluable, and I encourage each of us to make a planting of indigenous trees a conscious daily exercise rather than once-off event of Arbor Day.
Okay, we are in Independence Avenue performing our Arbor Day. This is the first tree that we're gonna plant. Our Bougainvillea is gonna add value and more color to the street.
The Meat Board of Namibia continues to encourage producers to have their tags registered and to upgrade their herd details. Here's more. Spokesperson for the Meat Board of Namibia, Desmond Klute, encouraged livestock farmers to promptly update their stock brands and herd details by the end of October, adding that every livestock producer in Namibia is legally obliged to register with the Meat Board to obtain a unique producer number. Klute highlighted the significance of this producer number, explaining that it serves as a key that grants livestock producers access to the formal market. This enables them to participate in activities such as local auctions and expos. Additionally, the producer number is a crucial component of traceability, facilitating the tracking of cattle intake and monitoring their origin and destination. Furthermore, Klute pointed out that the producer number also enables the import and export of livestock. Neglecting to renew or update this number carries consequences as it may become inactive, potentially excluding farmers from participation in the formal market. Klute warned that if producers fail to update their numbers, the system may be suspended, deactivated or reassigned to others over time. Klute stressed that this requirement applies to all livestock producers with registered stock brands, and the necessary forms can be obtained from the Meat Board website or any state veterinary office across the country. While he expressed concern over the large number of livestock producers being recorded daily, he still urged every farmer to ensure their producer number is updated before the approaching deadline. Klute said that the campaign would come to an end on 31 October this year. The producer number is a computer-generated identifier that appears on the card and certificate, serving as proof of livestock ownership. The card is portable and can be carried in one's wallet.
Nedbank Namibia hosts the 19th edition of the Nedbank Desert Dash come this December. Dubbed the toughest race on earth, the event starts in Windhoek and ends in Swakop on the 8th and 9th of December respectively.
Nedbank Namibia officially launched the 19th edition of the Nedbank Desert Dash in Windhoek last week. The race, which is dubbed the longest single-stage mountain bike race in the world, takes place on 8 and 9 December this year, with cyclists beginning the race from the Grove Mall in Windhoek and continue until Swakopmund's Platz am Meer Mall through the Kommas Hoogland and finishing in 24 hours. More than 1,000 cyclists have entered this year's event, with 160 cyclists participating in the two-man teams, 624 in the four-person teams, and 190 cyclists daring to ride solo. A total of 38 participants will take part in the new half-dash category, which will see cyclists over 50 years of age cycling from the Hollard halfway point to the finish line. The race also includes a first-ever e-bike category for four persons, where each cyclist will be required to ride an e-bike. Minister of Sport, Youth and National Service, Agnes Chongarero, said at the launch that the Nedbank Desert Dash is an event that is essential for Namibia's growth, as it unites people, encourages well-being and cultivates a sense of national unity. She said that the dash serves as a prime illustration of this concept, as it not only highlights our country's beauty but also motivates Namibians to embrace active living and tackle individual challenges. She said that this is not just any race, it's a gateway to opportunities, a chance to showcase Namibia on the international stage, and that we should not take these opportunities for granted. Speaking at the same event, Nedbank Namibia's MD Martha Morora said that her bank's commitment to cycling events has contributed to the growth of cycling in Namibia and has raised the profile of Namibian cyclists on the international stage. She thanked the organizers, cyclists and every key player contributing to the success of the Desert Dash. Over the past 35 years, Nedbank Namibia has been a pillar of cycling in the country, supporting various cycling events, including the Nedbank Pedal Power Race Series, the Nedbank Rock and Rut XC Series, and the Nedbank Cycle Challenge, amongst others. The Desert Dash is co-sponsored by Superspar Marua Mall and Grove, Indongo Toyota, Trek, and Hollard.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifra. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
There's music galore at the VRS Sports Field come December when Vocal Cast Production brings you SA's Mikasa along with top Namibian artists Paige, Jared G and DJ Malza on December 2nd. If jazz is more your style, don't miss the smooth sounds of Fujazz, Casey, Letitia, Don Vino, Judith Safuma and Major Sevenths on the 3rd. You can enjoy each event individually or you can easily make a weekend of it too. Get your tickets online via eticket.my.na or at the NMH offices in General Muhammad Murtala Avenue, Eros. Brought to you in conjunction with Republicane, Exhibition and Events Warehouse, Yango, DB Audio and the Windhoek Country Club and Resort. See you there!
Today, my colleague Jemima Ndebele speaks to Vanessa Hartung, who has a unique hobby that turned into a business. Here's more.
We are joined by the beautiful and vibrant Vanessa Hartung, who is also the owner of Vanessa Air. She then makes wax candles. Could you please tell us more about your enterprise? I mean, you are an educator by profession.
I am.
Tell me, how did you fall in love with the art of making candles?
Of course. So Jemima, I've just always loved candles. And it's just always something, or it's something that's just always in my house.
Yeah.
And recently, at the point where I decided to start making them, I got to a point where I realized, like, I just don't have candles here. And I've just gotten so out of touch that I didn't even realize that I didn't have candles in my house. And it frustrated me probably to an extent. And I also used to make candles for myself previously, but it was just for me. It was just for me. It wasn't for anyone else. It was just that in my amateur method or way of doing it. And then I actually started watching videos to just see how can I do it more professional for myself. Because I mean,
yeah, that's where the
I'm
love
also worth
started.
it.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then I started watching these videos, and it just took me on a journey, really. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to start making candles. And initially I didn't really think of selling them. And then one morning I just woke up and I'm just like, this can make me money. And I was still a bit hesitant until I listened to a certain podcast that said that if you want to make money, figure out what you like. And use this thing that you like or that you love doing, and then see how you can make money out of it. And as we spoke earlier, as you said, it was sort of like a full circle moment where I just like realized I love doing this, and it brings me joy and it gives me peace, and it's just a very therapeutic process as well. And I can make money out of it. If not, why not? And then I started going into sort of like the business idea of it. I started working on a business plan, and I started with the sort of like creative side of it, creating a logo for myself and a name, and somehow these things just really came to me. And the more it came, the more inspired I felt. And yes, that's why we are here today.
Now the name Vanessa Air, right?
Yes.
You Vanessa. I see what you did there, but
Yes.
what was that the initial idea?
Yes. So like my friends, they call me Vanessa, which is sort of like a shortened version of my name. So I thought, obviously it's my thing. I need to make it authentic to Vanessa. So that's now where the first part, Vanessa, comes in. And the A at the end, which is the A with an E at the end, it means a luxurious experience.
Really?
Yes.
Now who would have thought?
So yes, and I mean that's what candles are all about. I mean, you want sort of that luxurious experience. You do not just light a candle for the sake of lighting a candle. It brings something to your atmosphere. It creates an ambiance. It brings warmth. It creates a nice scent, a relaxing scent.
Aromatherapy.
Exactly. And I mean, taking a warm bath with a relaxing candle, it really is just something that can make you, sort of look forward to the end of the day where I can just, sit down, relax, light a candle, and just indulge.
Now, you mentioned that it is a very relaxing process, the manufacturing of
Yes,
it.
it is.
Tell me, can you take me briefly, how does one make a candle? I mean, I light them all the time, but I never really begin to
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
where does the wax even come
Yes,
from?
yes.
How does it
Yeah.
become this shape? So just briefly,
So obviously we most commonly know paraffin wax candles, right? And I mean, I'm sure every Namibian can tell you that a paraffin wax candle is. I mean, if you have a power outage, you quickly light a candle or something like that.
Yeah.
And besides that one, you also find soy candles. And soy is it's now a more plant-based wax. So it's much more environmentally friendly, and it burns well. It's also obviously used, for some skin therapy and things like that in a more processed, professional manner.
Yeah.
So yes, that's now where the wax and things, or what the wax is all about. And you basically melt it. So I buy my waxes, obviously from a local establishment, and I melt the wax. And you will actually not believe me, starting this process, there is so much you need to know.
Really?
It really isn't just, how do you say, an amateur sport, in the sort of in that sense. First of all, it's a lot of manual work. And then also, it's so technical. In order for you to get the right scent, if you want to make shapes, the weather also plays a role.
How?
Because if it's too cold, then your wax tend to set too fast, and if your wax sets too fast, it can sort of mold your candle incorrectly. So this is where candles tend to get sinkholes, or where they look deformed and things like that. So your room temperature needs to be at a certain level. Everything must be very mellow, I almost want to say, in order for the candle to also give you a good result. When you add your scents and your coloring, your wax needs to be at a certain temperature. It really isn't just about taking a lot of ingredients, putting them in a pot, melting them,
And hoping for the best.
Exactly.
So it's basically you cultivate the environment to create the candle in order for that same candle, when lit, to
Absolutely.
Give off
To
that
give
same
back.
ah
Exactly.
wow.
To give back sort of that environment. And that is why it is actually so therapeutic, because you can't be in a rush if you want to make it. I have to also set a specific time to say, okay, when you melt your wax, you have to wait for it to cool down, very mellow, very slowly, add what you need to add, wait a little more, then you pour it slowly, making sure there are no sinkholes or bubbles and things like that. And I think it teaches you patience, actually. And we can all do with a little bit of patience, I think.
Can't we all? That is for sure.
So, yes, and that is why it is so therapeutic, and it's just a beautiful process to create a beautiful thing that you can obviously enjoy at the end of the day.
Now, you are also an educator, right? You
Yes, I am.
teach entrepreneurship.
Yes,
And that probably also helped you in making this process
Yes.
easier, because you
Oh,
applied the skills.
absolutely. Yes, I used to teach entrepreneurship for some few years. I mainly teach business studies now. And let me tell you, I always tell learners in class, it's easy to study something from a book, but it's a completely different practice applying it outside. And those same things that I keep saying, I now have to experience myself. We actually made fun the other day, and I said, okay, now finally your business teacher has a business. But it's so complex and it's so intense, but it's so helpful doing it.
And now, how do you balance all of this? How do you juggle, being an educator full time, being a mom, and also running a business?
I don't even know. Am I juggling? Am I managing? I don't even know how many balls I have in the air right now. But as I've said, like this candle making process, it's really my thing. It's my sort of self-care that I do for myself. Even if I don't have an order, if I just feel like I need to do something, I need to get rid of this anxious energy or whatever that I have, I go and I make a candle, and I really do feel better afterwards. And especially also because I work with scents and these types of aromas, that in itself also helps, you know, to just create a nice and relaxing atmosphere.
Now, before I let you go, can you please tell our viewers where they can get, how they can reach you, and also what is the price range for these candles and what type of scents you have available?
Well, yeah, that can vary, of course. But I have a Facebook page, Instagram page, and on TikTok as well, just at Vaness Air. It is spelled VNESAIRE, Vaness Air. Yes. So you can give us a follow, of course, and you know, also keep up to date with what we have in stock. And the price range of the candles are normally between $40 and $200. And I also make sort of combo packages that people can order. But all the prices and all the information that you might still want or need, you can find on our social media pages. Yes.
Thank you so much for your time, Vanessa.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
That's it for today, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Next week, my colleague Tuyemo Haidula will be back in studio, this time from the far north of Namibia. Until then, take care.